and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, November 11th, 2022. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts, and you can get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. I will put the links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram this year called the Make 9 2022 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you choose 9 projects that you would like to make this year. You can post a grid of the projects that you would like to make, and it's never too late to enter, even though it's already November. It is just a participatory make-along, and whips are allowed. So if you are just planning on making 9 Christmas presents, then you can certainly make a board showing those projects. Or even if you just want to put up some, maybe the works in progress that you're already working on, and maybe some things that you're hoping to work on before the end of the year. You don't have to finish anything. That's not a requirement for this make-along. You just work on your projects and then post a picture of the projects that you're working on and include the hashtag Make92022Mal, and that will enter you in the make-along, and then you will be eligible to win prizes, which I draw throughout the year. A few of you commented that you are still interested in joining in the Make 9 challenge for next year, so I'm super excited that you are all enjoying that make-along, and so I will plan on continuing it for next year. So if you, maybe don't want to participate this year, but want to think about what you're hoping to make in 2023, that is super exciting, and you can start planning what you want to put on your Make 9 board for next year. But I just wanted to give a few more prizes away today for that make-along. I showed off in the last episode that I had been gifted a huge box of Yarny goodies, and I am going to share a couple of those skeins of yarn that I was gifted. I'm going to share those all with you. It was donated by an anonymous viewer of the podcast. So this one is the first prize. It is a sock set from a girl and her wool. So the larger skein is 80 grams and the smaller one is 20, so it's a total of 100 grams, and they're both on a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, fingering weight, and it is from a July 2022 mystery yarn club. So these beautiful colors, and the winner of this sock set is Joy, who is happyfox74_knit on Instagram. Congratulations, Joy. I hope that you are excited to win this sock set, and if the winners can just let me know their full name and mailing address, I would be super happy to get this off in the mail. I do believe I have your address, Joy, but just to make sure that it hasn't changed or anything, go ahead and message me again, either through Instagram direct message, or you can send me an email as well, whatever's most convenient for you. So congratulations to you, Joy. And the second hank of yarn that I'm going to be gifting is this beautiful green color. It's from Yarnable by Hypnotic Yarn, and it is in the Avocado colorway. This is on an 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon base, again fingering weight. And it's just got some beautiful colors of green in there, and a little bit of, you can see these extra little specks of almost like a red color, I guess. It's beautiful. The winner of this is Belinda, who is NanaGD2 on Instagram. So congratulations to you, Belinda. Again, for you, if you would just send me a message with your full name and mailing address, I'll be so happy to get this off in the mail to you. So congratulations to you as well. Thank you so much to everybody who has been participating, and please continue to participate, and I will continue to give gifts out throughout the year and even into next year. So thank you so much for participating in that make-along. It's so fun to see what you all are working on, as always. I have a few finished objects to share with you all today, which I'm so excited about. The first one is my son's sweater. So I was able to finish this sweater up for my almost 13-year-old son, and he was so excited about wearing this that he has already worn it. He wore it pretty much all day on Sunday, and I just noticed that he already has some food on it. I need to wash it already, which is not surprising to me. I think I mentioned before that this son in particular is pretty messy. So it was really important for me to make him a sweater out of acrylic yarn so it would be super easy to wash up. And so that's what this is. I had a total of 5 skeins of Lion brand Heartland yarn. The 3 different colors are Great Smoky Mountains. The tealy blue color is called Glacier Bay. And then the deep green color is called Kings Canyon. And I'm pretty sure that I picked up all of this yarn at a thrift store in town, so it was really inexpensive. I mean, like super inexpensive, because Lion brand Heartland is a pretty affordable yarn as you know normally, and it was in a thrift store, so it was even less expensive than normal. So I had a great amount of yarn to make this sweater out of. I mean, it was just a good amount of yarn, just what I would need to make this sweater. But since I had the 3 different colors, I wanted to stripe it, of course, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So the pattern that I used for this is called Knits for Everybody Sweaters, and it's a pattern by Katy. I purchased it on Knit Picks website. And it is a wonderful pattern. As I've stated before, it comes in from baby to men's sizes, and it also comes with instructions to knit this either in fingering weight or worsted weight. The Lion brand Heartland is a worsted weight 100% acrylic yarn, and I'm just really, really happy with how it turned out. I followed the pattern. The pattern does not instruct you to make stripes, so I did that, but I followed the instructions exactly for the main body of the sweater, except that I shortened it. I only knit it to 13 inches from the underarm. I think the original instructions said I was supposed to go like 18 inches or something like that, but it was going to be way too long on my son if I had done that. And then I also modified the sleeves. I made those shorter as well and did the decreases more rapidly so that I could fit them all in before I got to the spot where I needed to be to make the cuffs. Last time I showed this, I had almost finished both sleeves. I just had the cuffs to do on the sleeves, and I was working on the body. I believe I was about in the middle of this gray stripe last time I recorded. So I finished the rest of the body, and then it worked out well because I could continue the color sequencing for the body because I got to this teal stripe and I tried it on my son and realized it was long enough I could go ahead and add in the ribbing. And so the next color sequence is this green, and that's what I had the most of, and that is my son's favorite color of the 3 anyway, so I was really hoping that I could use that for all of the ribbing, and it just worked out perfectly. So I had the most of that, and I was able to add in the green color for all of the ribbing, which is just 1x1 ribbing, and then there's a 1x1 sewn tubular bind off for all of the bind offs. The original, I also did my own thing with that because I just follow a tutorial by Very Pink Knits to do a 1x1 sewn bind off, which I can link to in the description box below as well. There are instructions in the pattern that I just glanced over, and it kind of seems like it is the same type of a bind off, but I didn't really study it because I already have this bind off memorized and I love it, and it works great with 1x1 ribbing, so that's just what I did. Anyway, then I went back and added in that green ribbing for the sleeves. The sequence of the colors doesn't work out as perfectly on the sleeves, but I think that's just fine. That way all of the ribbing matches. And I went back in and did the neckline as well. So I just used my iron to steam block this to try to get the ribbing to lay nice and flat. I'll insert a picture of the sweater on my son so that you can see how nicely it fits him. I'm really happy with the fit of it on him. As you can see, it's got room to grow. It's not, it's still roomy enough. He's wearing a button-down shirt underneath it, and I just think it looks really nice on him. I'm so happy, and he loves it. So I am gonna have to go ahead and wash this now because I see he spilled, I don't know what on it, but there's something on it already, but I'm not surprised. I used the recommended needles for this, which were a US 5 3.75 millimeter needles for the body, and then US 4 3.5 millimeter for all the ribbing. I made the men's small size. And I think that I covered everything. It took me exactly a month to make this sweater. I started it on October 4th and I finished it on November 4th. So that worked out well. I was happy that I was able to make it pretty quickly for him. It helped that he was, you know, always reminding me to work on it. Whenever he saw me working on anything else, he always reminded me that I should really be working on his sweater. And I'm so glad I did. He really needed a new sweater. I've mentioned before that he is so knit worthy. He just really appreciates the knitting that I had made him a sweater before and he loved wearing that, but it just got too small for him. And so he, I know, will continue to enjoy wearing that sweater. So I'm very happy that I was able to make it for him. Then, oh, and I wanted to show you this is all of the yarn that I have left over from those 5 skeins of yarn. So now I have the least amount of the green left because I used it for all the ribbing, but this is all that I have left of the green, the, what was it called again? Kings Canyon colorway. And then the Glacier Bay, just 1 ball, and then I have 2 balls of the Great Smoky Mountains. But I'm so happy I was able to use up the majority of that yarn, and it, you know, I didn't have to worry about running out of yarn either. I didn't want to play it, you know, yarn chicken and run too short of any yarn. So I'm really happy that that worked out as it did. All right, my next finished object is another gift project. This is a crocheted project. I showed this off last time as well. This is a free pattern by Hobby Lobby. It's called Shell Done, and it's just from one of these free pamphlets that you can pick up at Hobby Lobby. And it's also a free pattern on their website, so I will link to that down below as well. And I crocheted this project for a family friend named Eva. I forget how old you are, Eva. I think maybe she's 16 or no, she'd probably be older than that. Maybe 17, I suppose, is my guess. And she also knits, and she's just learned how to crochet, but she asked me if I would be willing to make this for her. So one time, when was it that they were here? Back in October, they came to visit and we looked through my stash and she picked out these worsted weight 100% acrylic yarns again. So I offered to her, you know, all of the yarn that I had, but she just wanted to use this because she thought it would be most comfortable to wear for her. So anyway, the top color that I used here is a mystery yarn that I again picked up at a thrift store. I'm assuming it's either Red Heart or a Karen brand of yarn would be my guess. It came in an enormous, huge skein of yarn. And so I don't know the colorway or anything, but it's just a nice beige color. And then this green color is Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in the Sage Advice colorway. And the burgundy is by Knit Picks Brava in the Wine colorway. So last time I showed this, I was on the back panel, or it doesn't really matter, it's reversible, but I was on this panel and I was about here in this area, and it's worked from the top down. I almost was able to finish this shell section when I realized I was going to run out of the wine color. I had a total of 4 skeins of this Knit Picks Brava in the wine, and so I was really running low on my second skein. I was getting near the end and I hadn't finished the shell section yet. I still had 4 more rows to go. So I had to decide what to do because it was just going to be too short if I just stopped there. So what I decided to do, I at first was like, I'm going to have to rip this all out and start all over and make these sections longer. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to have to do that. Then I was like, no, I do not have to do that. I can just crochet from the top and then go up higher. So that's what I did. So what I did, I had followed the pattern until I got to the shell section, and then I just stopped 4 rows short of what the pattern called for. Then I went back up here, and the original pattern stops right here, or starts, I should say. The original pattern starts right here. And I just picked up and started working the stitches and added, how many more rows did I add? I added 6 more rows actually at the top so that it would be long enough. And I think that worked out really well. Now, if you look closely, you can see that these ridges, you can tell that this is where I picked up because the ridges are spread out a little bit further on this section. But I just figure, Eva, if you're watching, when you put this on, just wear that in the back and then it won't be as noticeable. But I showed this to my friend Tina. She was over on Wednesday to visit, and she said, oh, that's not noticeable at all anyway. So hopefully it won't be. But anyway, on the next panel, I just started and of course knit those extra rows to, or I'm sorry, crocheted those extra rows to start off with. So I just added in that extra length in the first section to start off with. The stitches that are used for these 2 top sections, the cream and the green, are US terms, either treble crochet or half double crochet stitches, and they're worked in the front and the back loops only. That's what makes this these ridges along the front. I mentioned last time that in the original pattern, it looks like she's wearing it with the smoother side out, which I don't think that's right, but maybe. So it is reversible really. It doesn't matter which side you wear it on. So this side is more smooth, as you can see. And I think that this side with more texture is more pretty. And then the bottom section is really fun to make using some shell stitches. It's just a 2-row repeat. So you make a shell stitch with 5 double crochet stitches in 1 row, and then the next row is 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So there's a little bit of variation there, but super easy and fun to work up. When you're all done, then you are supposed to go along the edge with some double crochet stitches, not along the bottom, but along all of the other sides. So that's what I did. And then you just seam the shoulders together and leave a neck hole at the top. So I'm super happy with how it turned out, and I hope that you really like it, Eva. So here it is on, and as you can see, it's a really boxy fit. It's just completely open at the sides, and the front and the back are both the same, of course. So, you know, it's kind of fun just to wear it open like this. It's not, I don't think it's, you know, the most flattering to wear it like this. So if it were my garment, I would put in buttons on the side so that you can kind of close it up like this, or maybe wrapping it to the back and closing it like that on the sides, because I think that looks a little bit more flattering. Or I thought you could also, Eva, if you are watching and you would like me to do this, just let me know. Or of course, she, like I said, has learned how to crochet, so you could also do this on your own, Eva. Just crochet like a chain on either side of the front panel, and then you could wrap it like this and tie it in a bow either to the back, which I think would be really cute, or you could even tie it around in the front too, I suppose, however you wanted to style it. Or of course you could just put a belt around the waist too, but I just think it looks a little bit more flattering if you kind of cinch in the waist just to give it a little bit more definition. But if you want a really relaxed look, then of course you can just leave it open like that. So it's kind of a fun thing to wear, I think. Since I made this stripe a little bit longer, it makes the original pattern, you can see on this, the stripes kind of end a little bit higher up here, but this makes it, that green stripe ends right at my actual waistline. So hopefully it'll work well for Eva as well. She's shorter than I am, but hopefully it'll still be a good fit. And then I noticed, I was playing around with it a bit, and if you put it on its side, it's kind of cute like this. So you can kind of push the front forward here, and then it kind of looks, I don't know, it's just kind of cute like this, I think. You could wear it this way instead. You could cinch it to the back again, and then it's almost like a sweater. You could pin it, you could just grab a pin and pin it to the back, and then these almost make sleeves on the sides here. That's kind of cute, I think. And let's see, you could also bring it forward like this and kind of drape it over this way. Then it would be more like a shawl almost. You wrap it around one side, maybe. You could play around with it a lot. So it's kind of one of those pieces that could really be fun to play around with, I think. Styling it in different ways. Let's see, could we do like a halfway thing, like a diagonal type thing, maybe? I don't know. Kind of like that, maybe? You could have fun styling it, I think. So anyway, there's lots of options for this. Also, I just thought of this one. You could maybe, let's see if this would work. Fold it lengthwise, and then it could go over like that maybe. Let's see what that does. Well, maybe. Oh yeah, that might work. That might be kind of cute. You could wear it as a scarf more so like that maybe, or a shrug. I don't know. Maybe. It's like really cape-like this way. You can put the collar up and then you could be like Elvis. Anyway, lots of options for this one. It's a fun design and gives you lots of options, I think. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy this, Eva, and you have fun playing around with it. So it was all made using an H 5mm hook, and it worked up really quickly. As soon as I finished Alex's sweater, then I worked on this because I wanted to get it done because we were supposed to get together with this family this weekend, but unfortunately some of their kids got sick, so we can't get together this weekend. But anyway, it only took me a couple of weeks to make this, so super happy to have that done for you, Eva. And my last finished object is another gift knit, and this one is for my friend Tina. So this is called the Float Neck Warmer, and it's a design by Hooligan. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think it's just such a beautiful design. This is knit from the top down in the round, and it is a color work design, and it uses the slip stitch or the floats of the color work on the wrong side to make this fun pattern. And I just think it is so beautiful and fun and versatile. So Tina had requested a cowl neck warmer type thing for when she goes bike riding. She wanted to have something that would cover quite high on her face to cover her mouth and then go down over her shoulders. And so I found this design and I thought it was just so beautiful and perfect for what she wanted. The two colors that I used are, the golden color is a yarn that I dyed myself on a 100% non-superwash merino wool, and I called that color Fine Gold. And then the main color I used is a Malabrigo Rios, so that's 100% superwash merino wool, and it's in the colorway Anniversario. And I really love how those two colors worked together. Here you can see how it fits, and it comes up nice and high. Hopefully it'll stay okay for you, Tina. I think it will. You know, when you're biking, you'll be like this. I think it'll be good. Anyway, I like it that you can fold down the neckline if you are not needing to stay quite so warm. And then you can see the other side. I think it's so pretty. Oh, I did make one modification to this pattern as well. I followed the pattern entirely until right before the garter stitch ending here. There was one more row where you would have a float that would not get picked up. So the original pattern, you have these floats on this side. They get picked up right here, and this is called a dragonfly stitch. And there was instructions to do one more row where there would be one float going across, but you would never pick it up. And I just didn't want that. I didn't want there to be one extra float along the bottom. So I just skipped that row and just went right into the garter stitches. My son is mowing the lawn. It's freezing outside today. Why is my son mowing the lawn? I don't know. So I don't know what he's doing. I can't see him. It's my eldest son. He is such a hard worker, so I can't complain. He just loves to stay busy. So he's probably found a patch of grass somewhere that wasn't quite short enough, and he's gonna get it before winter. We might get snow in the next few days, I guess. My husband just said on Monday we might get snow. So anyway, hopefully that's not too loud. Oh, so anyway, I just skipped that one row before the garter stitch border. And I'm glad I did that because it wasn't really clear which side you were supposed to hold the yarn on. I assumed that you were supposed to do it as you had done for the rest of the pattern, which would mean that you held the float on this side. But like I said, it wouldn't get picked up, so just be hanging out there. I tried it on both sides, both on this side and with the float going on the back side. I didn't like how it looked for either one, so I just thought I'm just gonna skip that row and just go right into the garter ridges. So I did that, and I'm glad I did. So again, it is reversible, so I'll try it on this way too. Oh, I think it's so pretty. It's really nice. It's, you know, nice and thick because it's got that double layer of worsted weight yarn. And oh, it's so nice. I love it. My 9-year-old son even saw this today and was like, oh, Mom, I really like that. I think I might want one for myself. And I was like, oh, really? So anyway, it could be, I guess, unisex. If you made it in different colors, probably. I don't know. I think it looks a little frilly along the edges here, but anyway. Oh, it's so fun, I think. I hope you love it, Tina. I think she will. She's already seen it. As I said, she came over on Wednesday and I only had like 8 rows left. Really only 7 rows left because at that point I didn't know I was going to skip that one row. So I was really, really close to the end and she saw it and loves it. So I'm so excited to get this to you, Tina, and hopefully it will keep you nice and cozy as you do your bike rides throughout the colder seasons. I used the recommended needles for this project as well, which were, oh, I want to talk about my book because somebody asked me about that. But anyway, this was made on US 7 4.5 millimeter needles. And it was just worked in the round, which was so nice. I think that was it. Otherwise, I didn't have anything else to add to this pattern. Really, really fun and beautiful. I've said before that I never had worked color work in this way. You're constantly switching which side your floats are on, and that's what adds to the beautiful design of the pattern. So somebody had asked me about my knitting book that I keep all of my notes in. I've mentioned it before, but it's been a long time, so I thought I would just mention it again. So I use this book, and it's just got clear. It's just a blank slated book. I got it at Walmart a long time ago, so I don't know if they still carry this exact type of book, but anyway, whenever I start a new project, I make notes about it in this book. I put in the name of the design and the designer. If it's a gift, I usually put in who it's for. I put in the yarn that I'm using, and I put in the start date. Oh, I didn't put in the end date. When did I finish it? Just yesterday. I need to put in the end date, so I'll put in 11/10/22 right here. And the needles I used. If there's a size, I'll add in the size, so you can see that here on my son's sweater. I put in the size was men's small. And then I forgot to mention, but I have mentioned before that my son's stripes, I did a repeat of 20 rows and then 7 rows of the, or I did 20 rows of the Kings Canyon and then 7 rows of the Glacier Bay, 20 rows of the Great Smoky Mountains, and then 3 rows of the Glacier Bay again. So you could probably tell that I kind of syncopated those stripes. But anyway, then I just add in any notes. So as you can see here, I just put in a note that I skipped round 22 because it wasn't clear where the float should be held, and I didn't want a float on the main side, or on the main color side that wouldn't be picked up, as I already mentioned to you. So, and then again, you can see here I've put in some notes about the changes that I made to my son's sweater. So I changed the colors on the back left shoulder for his sweater. I didn't mention that, but when I was doing the color changes, I just made a note of that, and then made a note of the modifications that I made on the sleeve decreases, and that I had shortened the body and so forth. So I put a note in here of how many rounds I did to for the ribbing, and how many stitches I picked up for the neck band. So things like that. So hopefully that helps you know what I'm always referring to during my episodes. I'm oftentimes looking down at this book to get information about the different projects that I'm making. So anyway, I just love having my projects notated in this way. Everything's together, and if I ever have any questions, I love looking back at it at past projects to help me remember what I did or what modifications I made. If I want to repeat a pattern, I can remember what I did to make that pattern work for me and so forth. I reference this book constantly, so I really enjoy keeping notes about my knitting projects and crochet projects in this book. All right, those are all of the finished objects that I had to share with you all today, so I will go on to my works in progress. The first one I am working on is being held in this beautiful Tanny Casey project bag, and it has some pretty pins on there from Nice and Knit. And I am working on a pattern that I'm just making up myself for a headband. So I shared this with you last time that I just want to make a headband for myself. I did remember after I recorded last time that I do have a headband that does fit me well, but I kind of forgot about it. And in fact, I have a tutorial on how I made it on this channel, and I totally forgot about it. But I can't find it. I need to clean out my closet, which is where I have the majority of my handmade items, and I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere, but that's one of my to-do projects in the next week or two, is to reorganize my closet again. So I think I'll find it if I go through there. But anyway, I just really want another headband, I guess. And I think this will be nice because that one is multicolored and it doesn't match my winter coat or anything, and so I think it'll be nice to have this color as a headband that will be, I'll be able to wear it with my winter coats and things, and it'll match, it'll coordinate, it'll look nice. Anyway, so as I said, I'm just kind of doing my own thing. I used a provisional cast on to start this off, and I cast on 56 stitches, and I am just doing a 1x1 ribbing. This is another thrift store beige colored mystery yarn. I'm very confident that this has at least some wool in it, just by the feel of it. I'm pretty sure it's probably a wool blend would be my guess, but I have no idea. And I'm also guessing that it's a worsted weight. But again, it was completely unmarked. Well, actually, it had a label on it, but it was completely wrong. It said that it was a bulky weight yarn that was a green color by Lion brand. And well, it wasn't that, obviously, so I don't know what it was. Anyway, maybe it is the Lion brand Wool Ease. That could be. I don't know. I haven't gone to see if they have this colorway. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's just a guess. I am just working a 1x1 ribbing, making a tube, and I'm planning to knit this to be the length, to be the circumference to go around my head. And then both Tina and another viewer of the episode gave me a link to a certain way to stitch this together so that you can get kind of a cool knotted twisty thing, which I think I will give that a try. I'm not sure if it will work out with my provisional cast on. I'm not sure how that will work out, but I'm gonna try it. So I will, I'll let you know if and when I do that, if it works out, and then I'll link to that information if you're interested. This Progress Keeper is such a cute one. It's from Emily of Salt City Knits or Yarnberry. I had ordered a sock set from her quite a long time ago, and this came on it. So that's marking where I was last time. So I've worked on it quite a bit. I've made quite a bit of progress, but it's taking forever. I just feel like this should be working up so much faster than it is because it's only it's only like half done. I still have to go twice as long before it will fit around my head, so it'll be a while. I'm using US 5 3.75 millimeter needles for this project, and you know, it's easy and mindless. So it's nice to work on when I don't have the ability to think about what I'm working on, but I just really thought that a worsted weight headband would work up pretty quickly, and it's not working up very quickly. I started it on October 15th. Obviously, I haven't worked on it very much because it would have worked up faster if I had, but still, I'm like, come on, I want this. But hopefully it'll be done kind of soon, maybe. We'll see. All right, my next work in progress is much more enjoyable. It is the baby blanket that I am working on. I shared this with you all last episode as well, and I've made a bit of progress on this as well. This is a pattern that is a vintage crochet stitch pattern, and Emma of Potter in Bloom put out a YouTube tutorial showing how to work up this beautiful stitch. It is called the Checkerboard stitch, and it is so enjoyable to work on, especially since I'm, you know, changing the colors so often on this and using up a lot of worsted weight scraps of yarn to make this baby blanket. So in the original tutorial that Emma put out, she just made a little square, and she had mentioned that, and she showed that this stitch really looks good with stripes by changing the color every 2 rows. It's a 4-row repeat, and if you change colors every 2 rows, it works up really beautifully, and that's what I am doing. And Emma is also working on a scarf using fingering weight yarn, actually yarn that I sent her last Christmas for our Advent swap that we did. So that was super fun because I had already started on this before she showed off that scarf that she's making, and she's using the yarn that I sent her. I don't know, and it's just so fun that we're both working on the same thing and kind of doing our own thing with the pattern. Anyway, so I am just really enjoying working on this. So again, it's all worsted weight yarn, it's all acrylic scraps, and this will be a baby blanket. I don't know who it will be for. I just love making baby blankets and then having them in my stash to gift whenever it works out. So this will be for a little girl, I'm sure. And I, again, am using an H 5mm hook. And it's just so much fun to be able to use up all of these scraps, and the stripes are just completely random, and I'm just trying to use up all of these colors, which is so gratifying. This is a super cute progress keeper that my cousin Allie made for me with this little cactus. It's so adorable. So that's marking where I was the last time I showed this project. So it's coming along. It's over halfway done according to the measurements that I figured for it. So yeah, it's super fun, and I'm so happy with how it's turning out. Such an enjoyable project, really, really is. Oh, and I'm keeping it in this new basket that I got at the thrift store. I'm so happy about it. It's in beautiful condition. Isn't it great? And it's got this nice handle on it. I just love it. Nice and roomy, so that's holding get a glimpse of some of the yarns I'm using in there. So that is a really fun project that will hopefully probably be done pretty quickly because it's super fun to work on. Okay, my next two works in progress are some socks that I have been working on for a super long time because I haven't been putting enough time into them. And I really haven't made a ton of progress on either one of these pairs, but I thought now my projects are a little bit more manageable and I'll probably try to finish these up hopefully pretty soon, but we'll see. The first pair of socks is being held in this beautiful project bag that was made for me in, I received it in a swap that I did several years ago. And it is my, I always forget the order of it. Is it stripy scrappy socks or scrappy stripy socks? It was on the other one, scrapey stripy socks. And so it's for the knit along that Kay of Crazy Sock Lady is hosting. And I think that that knit along goes through the end of this month. So I should get them done by then. There's no reason why I shouldn't. So let's see, last time I showed these was a few episodes ago, at least two or probably 3 episodes ago. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I'm knitting them two at a time, as I always do with my socks. And here is a progress keeper. I made that, I guess. I was trying to remember where I got that from, but I think I made that one. And that's marking where I was last time I recorded. So I was still on the leg, but almost ready to start the heels. I started with 60 stitches using US 0 2 millimeter needles. All of the knitting needles that I use are Chowgu red lace. I cast on 60 stitches and did 2x1 ribbing for 25 rounds, which is a little longer than what I normally do, but I really like the looks of those. And then for the color stripes, I just did 10 rounds for each color stripe. The yarn that I'm using is Knit Picks Stroll in the Rainstorm Heather colorway. And then the colored stripes are using a mini skein set that I received as a gift from my friend Michelle, and they are by Molly Klein Design in the Songbird Eggs Sweet Tea Yarns mini skein set. So I assume it didn't, I don't think it said on the label if this was a 75-25, but Knit Picks is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon fingering weight base. After I finished the stripe patterning, I just did 5 more rounds of plain stockinette on the leg before I started the heel flap. And I just did a slip stitch heel flap and heel turn and picked up the gusset, gusset decreases, and now I am just knitting straight on the foot of the sock, and then before the toe I will add in another set of these stripes. So those are coming along really well, and these are they're at a nice point right now where they don't take any mind power at all, so I can work on these, you know, on the go really easily as well, so that's great. And then my last work in progress is another pair of socks that I've put even less work into, but they're being held in this little project bag that I also received in a swap a long time ago. And it's got a little pin on it that I received from Emma of Potter and Bloom in our Advent swap that we did last year. And in here is another pair of socks that I started so long ago. I really should look at when I started these because it's ridiculous how long it's taken me. They're way back here. I started these in August. That's so crazy. I can't believe I put these off for so long. Anyway, so let's see. I actually haven't picked these up in a really long time, but I knew I hadn't shown them to you all in a long time also, and I am planning on hopefully getting back to these pretty soon, so I thought I would just show them off today just to remind you all of them, to remind myself of them, honestly. So I, again, started off with 60 stitches, US 0, 2 millimeter needles. Again, I only did 20 rows for the cuff, which is my usual. Again, 2x1 ribbing. The ribbing and the heel, and I'll also use this yarn for the toes. That yarn is from Sweet Mountain Crafts in the Summer Snow Cone colorway. So I started these in the summer, and so it was really fitting for me to pick these colors. Now it's fall and quickly approaching winter, but oh well. Okay, so for these, the main color that I'm using on these socks is another Knit Picks yarn. It's Knit Picks Felici in the Golden Hour colorway. Again, this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. That's what the Sweet Mountain Crafts yarn is as well. And whenever the color stripes change, then I just do one row of slip one, knit one, all the way around to get this cute little slip stitch pattern that transitions the colors. So I think that's really fun. So I have done the heel flap and just picked up the gusset stitches. So these are ready to start doing the, working again in the round. Yeah, I haven't even done one row of, I've just picked up the gusset stitches. So that's where I'm at on these. Oh, my son made me, okay, so this little strawberry is marking where I was the last time I showed these off on an episode. So I had a couple more color stripes to add in and then the heels. That is from a company out of Germany called Million Dots. And I haven't checked in a while to see if she still makes charms or not, but there have been a few times when I've checked and she doesn't have anything in her shop. And then my daughter recently got her ears pierced, and I have a bunch of jewelry making stuff from, just for me to make progress keepers basically, but a lot of it is, like these can be used for earrings, of course. And so I let my kids play with the bead set that I have and my daughter could make some earrings for herself, and then my boys were making things as well. And my 10-year-old son made me this progress keeper. So I put it on here, and I just did this on the scrappy stripe, is that right? I still can't remember. Scrappy stripey, is that right? Yeah, scrappy stripey socks. I did this, I used a progress keeper to help me keep track of where I'm doing my decreases. So I just moved the progress keeper to the sock to the side of the sock that needed the decreases, and then when I finished that round, then I put it on the other side. So I'd remember the way that I knit socks is every round I'm either doing a slip slip knit stitch to decrease on one side, or I'm doing a knit two together on the other side. And so that just really helped me to keep track of what round I was on for the decreases. So I'm going to use this to keep track of my decreases on these socks as well. So yeah, so I just picked up the gusset stitches on the other side. So that means I already did my first knit two together. And so when I work in the round now, I'll do a slip slip knit on this side, and then I'll move the marker to the other side to keep track. I hope that makes sense. It helped me with my scrappy stripey socks. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to these. So ridiculous. I've put them off for so long. Socks don't usually take me that long. I'm not a really fast sock knitter, but I've obviously just put these on hold for a really long time because they don't normally take me that long. But hopefully I'll get back to these soon. I'll probably finish my scrappy stripey socks first though, and then work on these, I'm guessing. We shall see. So those are all of the projects that I have to share with you all. That's everything I have to share with you. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that so much. I hope you all are doing really well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.